Hello, beautiful souls. The third eye is such a powerful spiritual energy center. And when we can actually feel into it and physically feel the emotions or the sensations that are going on in the third eye, then we can actually, be more attuned to it and see what's going on there when it's active, when it's kind of more dormant, when it needs support, or when there's big kind of spiritual happenings going on in our life. You can actually feel into this energy center, this chakra, and feel what's going on. Now, I remember this was something that I was showing people how to do in grade 6 when I was 12 years old. I didn't know it at the time that I was showing them how to actually feel their third eye. I just thought it was something cool, you put your finger here and then you feel this thing, But here's what you do to actually feel your third eye so you can be more attuned to it and be more aware of what goes on with spirituality, your intuition, when it's up and when it's down, when it's fluctuating. It's a very powerful energy center that has to do with intuition, inner knowing, spiritual understandings, all the things that can be known about spirituality or intuition. They usually originate or, are centered around the third eye. So here's what you do. You take your finger, your index finger, usually your dominant hand. For me, it works better with my right hand. And so you take your index finger and you keep your eyes open and you just put it right between your eyebrows, but a little higher up than your actual eyebrows. And you just hold it there as close as you can to your forehead without touching your forehead. And you just start to notice. You start to notice a little sensation, a little feeling in your forehead. For me, it feels like a sort of pressure, or sometimes a tingling, or a pulsing sensation, a throbbing sensation, when I just hold my hand on my third eye. And you can close your eyes if you want. Sometimes that does help. Just experiment. You might have to kind of move your finger around, try your other hand. You could even try touching your forehead if you want. But I found it kind of works better if you don't touch it, because then you're just attuning to the energy flow rather than the touch, But yeah, I was showing this to people in grade 6 just for fun, but I didn't realize what I was actually doing is I was showing them how to attune to their third eye energy, the energy that's being emitted by their third eye. And so it's usually, for people, it's kind of like a pressure that they feel there, or there's a throbbing, or it almost feels like it's spinning, which it is, the chakras, the energy centers that are in our body, they actually do spin. So you might feel that. You might feel a tingling or warmth, or a cold feeling even. Whatever feeling you feel, it's right for you usually. And so it's possible that you've been feeling these sensations there before doing this exercise even. A lot of people will just feel things there. Maybe in meditation, maybe when they're doing something creative, like playing an instrument, or if they're looking out somewhere, at some scenery, or if they're reading a spiritual book. If there's an event or a happening where the third eye can be active, where it makes sense for the third eye to be active, especially reading some sort of spiritual book or meditating, a lot of people will feel a pressure or a pulsing, and that means that the third eye is more active and it's opening up and it's, activating. And sometimes, if people can't feel it, if they do this exercise but, they're not really feeling much, then it means that the third eye might be more kind of dormant and hasn't really been activated yet. And so with this exercise, to actually activate it further, you can just do this, but also imagine the third eye actually opening, just like if your eyes were closed and they slowly open. You can just imagine that for your third eye. Imagine the third eye opening if you'd like to activate it more. And it's important to be balanced with this. You can open chakras too far, and then that creates some kind of problems, like having your chakras be too open. It needs to be balanced, right? But this, getting attuned to these energies, is very, very important, because then we can support our third eye and, offer it protection or understanding or compassion, or, we can feel what's going on in this very powerful energy center. I remember about a year ago, maybe 6 months ago or so, when I really started getting into this spiritual stuff, and I just started reading spiritual books. I really just started getting into this stuff. I noticed my third eye, especially as I was falling asleep, my third eye, it was like throbbing and pulsing, almost like there was a heart beating there. And this was a huge sign that, my third eye was opening and getting active. Another thing I noticed when this was happening was that, like, my inner visuals, like closed eye visuals when I was falling asleep or when I was dreaming, they were way more powerful, way more vivid, right? Your third eye is not just, spiritual knowing or intuition. It's also like actual visions and spiritual abilities, psychic abilities that are amplified when our third eye gets more active, right? When our third eye starts opening and starts expanding, these symptoms that we feel, or these pressures, these tinglings or throbs from our third eye, from this powerful energy center, they amplify. So this exercise it's just awesome to start feeling your third eye, right? To get used to it, to get used to how it feels and what kind of things are going on in there for you at this time, right? So just keep doing that, keep practicing that, the third eye feeling technique. And get familiar with your third eye. Get comfortable with how it feels. And then throughout your day, you'll probably be able to notice more. Like what, when is it more active? What does it feel like when I'm meditating? What does it feel like when I'm reading a spiritual book? What does it feel like when I'm watching this video, for instance? I can definitely feel mine right now as I'm speaking this video. There's just kind of a light pressure there, a light tingling, and I know it's more active for the purpose of delivering this video. It's just a beautiful energy center that it really helps when we can get attuned to it, be aware of what's really going on there.